Hello class, very good morning to everyone. Myself Vivek Prakash Yadav and I am here to take your biology class of the class 10th, and the topic that we are discussing current is asexual reproduction in the chapter how do organisms reproduce. So before we are going to start, we just have a small recap about our revision of the last chapter that we have discussed, our topic. Actually we are discussing about the type of asexual reproduction, and in the type of asexual reproduction we have almost finished about fission, okay, then budding, fragmentation, then regeneration, okay. We have completed fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration. Now the few that we have left with is your spore formation, and the last one is your vegetative propagation. Okay, vegetative propagation. So we have to complete these two, spore formation and vegetative propagation. So we are going to start today with spore formation. Now, as I told you that in case of asexual reproduction also, the pattern of organization of the organisms make some important role. That I told you, like fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, from the simple level to the complex level we are moving forward. Now when we are going to talk spore formation, it is mostly observed in the case of mold, or you can say fungi. Okay, fungi. You see the spore formation. Till now, the different mode of asexual reproduction that we have discussed, in that whole parent body, okay, in that whole parent body going to be participate in the asexual reproduction, or whole parent body going to be participate in the development of the new organism. But the special in the case of spore formation is that now in the spore, the term which is using the spore is actually the special reproductive organ. Naturally, in case of spore formation or in the case of fungi, see, exceptional things are there, but they develop special kind of reproductive organ which we were not finding in all other types that we have discussed till now. Okay. So spore is actually the special reproductive structure, we can say, or we can say gametes which contain the new organism or future organism. So what happened? Spore formation, it is special type of reproductive structure, okay, formed by the organism, we can say fungi. Now, how spore formation takes place? See, in case of fungi, the vegetative part is known as hyphae. Okay, vegetative, we can say vegetative part is known as hyphae. Okay, something like this. Okay, the complete structure is known as mycelium. Okay, net-like structure known as mycelium. But when they start getting mature, what will be happen? There is a erect movement like this. Okay, in the mycelium or in the hyphae, elongated structure like this form and at the top of this structure, okay, at the top of this structure there is a bulb-like structure, okay, there is a bulb-like structure at the top of this structure. Hyphae, see, this is, we can say, this is mycelium, okay, this is mycelium, we can say this single form hyphae, okay, hyphae, and this is sporangium. This is known as bulb-like structure or ball-like structure, sac-like structure, that is known as sporangium. Okay, and inside this sporangium, spores are present. Okay, inside this sporangium, spores are present. So, we can say spore are the future organism. Okay, spore are the future organism which is present inside sporangium. Okay, which is present inside sporangium. Now what happened when favorable condition come or this sporangium get mature or spore get mature? So this structure, okay, this covering of sporangium get ruptured and multiple spores release out. Now they will either in the water medium, they will spread with the help of air and whatever the other sources they can be. Okay, so in this way what happened when this spores, okay, when this spore going to fall on the suitable, when this spores going to fall on the suitable substrate, okay, on the suitable substrate, then they are going to germinate as a new individual. So this is the spore formation, which is also a type of asexual reproduction. Okay, there is no involvement of two parts, but in higher classes when we are going, we will found that from here actually, okay, from here actually the process of sexual reproduction is started. Okay, from here the process of sexual reproduction started, because we have seen here that the spatial reproductive structure or spatial reproductive part form here. Okay, so hope you people like this. Now here one exceptional thing, that this mycelium or hyphae, due to some reason if they break down or break down into fragments, so they also have the capability to develop into the new hyphae or mycelium, which later on again develop and can give rise this sporangium which bears the spores. Okay, so hope you people understood the concept of spore formation. Now the next which is going to be discussed is vegetative propagation. Just a minute. Now, the next that we are going to discuss is the last one. This is known as vegetative propagation. What is vegetative propagation? See, this is a special feature that we observe in the case of plant, okay? Because we have seen that there are many vegetative part of the plant. Vegetative propagation means the non reproductive. Okay, the non-reproductive part of plant, like stem, root and leaf. Okay, The non-reproductive part of the plant like stem, root, leaf when propagate to develop new organism, it is called vegetative propagation. It is called vegetative propagation. Means in the case of vegetative propagation, actually the vegetative part of the plant, okay, vegetative part is actually non-reproductive part like leaf, stem, root. When they participate in the development of the new organism, okay, new organism, that is known as vegetative propagation. We can take few example like stem. Okay, you can take example stem. Yes, we can use sugar cane. Yes, even potato. Potato is also tuber modified stem, right? So in case of potato, do we use seeds? No, we use the potato, which is a form of modified stem. Sugar cane. In case of sugar cane, do we use seeds? No. We can see that at the internodes. Okay, the nodes. See, this is the node. Okay. Now you will find that this is a small bud or eye-like structure is present, which is known as eye, and this can develop into the new plant. Yes. So what I mean here, that when the vegetative parts used for the propagation of new plantlets, that is known as vegetative propagation. In the case of root, yes, in the case of root, you can take the example of sweet potato. Yes, sweet potato. Sweet potato is, you can say that is a root modification. Then leaf, bryophyllum is the best example. Okay, leaf, that is bryophyllum. Okay, bryophyllum. So in case of bryophyllum, you will see that when this leaf is like that, at the region where these veins are present, you will see here the small growth. Okay, small plantlets were here. Okay, small plantlets were here. Just a minute, hopefully I can show you some examples. Just a minute. Okay. Sorry, it is not available actually right now here. But still, I will, if I get time, I will show you with example. So, in case of bryophyllum, you will see that at the margin of the leaf, there is development of small plant, and actually what happens during the initial growth, they will taking the nutrient from this parent leaf. Okay, means mother leaf. So once they develop the root, okay, and there is no extra stored nutrient in this leaf, parent leaf, the leaf get fall down in the soil, and that small plantlets, the root get attached to the soil, and they are now able to survive as independent individuals. So what you have seen here actually, these all are a type of vegetative propagation that is also natural. That is naturally you will see them. In the case of bamboo, do we use seeds? No, we use the stem or propagated root development. In the case of bryophyllum, now we are going to consider artificial types. Why that is necessary or reason behind that we will discuss. See, hope you understood this vegetative propagation. Now the next type that we are going to discuss is, see, this is a type of natural. Okay, this is natural vegetative propagation. What we have discussed just now. Now, artificial vegetative propagation. Okay. artificial vegetative propagation. When we are going to talk about artificial vegetative propagation, it means that that is not actually happen naturally. It is man-made practices. See, we can see many of the plants whose seed viability is not proper, or it is not easy to propagate them from the seed. We can take the example of rose, jasmine. Yes, there are many plants. I am not saying that we cannot propagate them with the seeds, but thing is that it is very quite complicated to make the seeds viable or to make them grow from the seeds. So the best thing that we use is there are some artificial method by which we can grow them. Like few types are there. You can say cutting. Okay. Then grafting. Cutting, grafting, layering. Even in this we can discuss tissue culture also. Okay. So what happens in cutting? We can take the example of rose and sugarcane. Yes, what we do? We cut their stem and use their stem to develop the new plant. Yes, in case of rose, see, in the natural type you can take example of ginger, turmeric also in the case of stem propagation. Okay. Here in case of rose, sugarcane. Okay. What we do? We use the stem. Okay. We use stem to propagate new plant. Nowadays we are using mango also by this method, and we are saying that kalmi aam. Yes, kalmi mango is what used for that. Okay. Now grafting. What happened in grafting? Have you heard that organ transplant? Yes, grafting of the organ means we can take a particular type from one source and we will going to transfer that in another source. Just example, see, suppose you have two guava plant. Okay, two guava plant. What is problem you have seen that in one case you are seeing the fruit size is very large, but in another case you will see the fruit size is small, but is mostly they are dominating in that particular environment, or they are very much adapted to that particular environment, the small one. But the larger one, problem is that they are not properly adapted with that environment. There is chances of infection and such kind of things, but the size of fruits is very good. What you want? You want that plant which is having the larger size fruit should be transferred in the one which is having the small fruits but well adapted. So suppose that this is your stalk. Okay, one which is rooted in the soil. Okay, which is rooted in the soil is stalk. You make them cut like this. Okay, and one from your sample. Okay, that is one, this is you have cutted the stem from the large size fruits. What you have did, just you hold them and put here in this form. Okay, in this form, and you just tie here. You tie here and using some like nutrient things and all. So what you will see, this rooted one is called stalk, S-T-O-C-K, stalk. This up one is called scion, S-C-I-O-N, S-C-I-O-N. So stalk and scion. This is known as grafting. Taking of one other sample and grafting them to the another host means rooted plant is known as grafting. What is layering? In many of the plants, what we do or we have seen that the cover of the stem, okay, the bark of the stem is get removed. Suppose this is the stem, okay, with the bark. What
Mr. Vivek Prakash Yadav, meet me immediately.
What happened here?
Mr. Vivek Prakash Yadav.
Just remove the, just a minute.
Mr. Vivek Prakash Yadav.
Okay, so this is known as layering. What we do, we remove the bark from here, and put some nutrients and growth material here, and later on what happens, we will see from the bark new plant develop, new roots develop, and we cut them and transfer to the another. Okay, so this is known as layering. And in the next class we will start with the tissue culture. Okay, in tissue culture actually what we do, we took sterile mesomatic region or fresh region of the tissues, and in a proper maintained condition we transfer them into the culture media. Okay, and small callus will form. That callus is actually aggregation of cell that going to be cut into multiple pieces. Again they are going to be transferred, and that callus get differentiate into new plant. Okay, and slowly we transfer them to the natural environment. So with that we are going to finish today's class. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.